Find a tall seated position, building your front and back rectangle. We're going to rock into our rectangle reach, but we're going to do it in a tall seated position. So knees high, use the low abdomen and hip flexors to tighten up the position. We're holding for 3 breaths. We're going to hold for 3 breaths, 2 rounds each side. Rocking to the other side, keeping rectangle integrity, tight through the core, knees high. 3 breaths here. Go back to the other side. I'm going to show a different position here, a different angle, so I can kind of show this tightening. Bring your chest forward, knees close to the chest, arm parallel or arm in the same line as the torso. 3 breaths each side. One more time. Nice and tall, tight. Keep the chin in, head back, so you can hide your ear behind your elbow from the side. 3 breaths. After this 3rd breath, we're going to come out and go into our shin box position, and we're going to tap our elbows down with a rectangle hold. So we're keeping the rectangle, we're tapping an elbow down, keeping both legs planted. We're going to do 5 reps each side. Rectangle integrity here. Try not to let the trailing leg float, but it's probably going to pop up a little bit. Try to keep that leg grounded as best you can. We'll switch to the other side. Find our rectangle, elbow taps. Notice how this side is my bad side. When my core loses its integrity, you'll see the right leg or trailing leg hop up and move around a little bit. We're aiming to do less and less of that over time. This should be pretty difficult. Make sure we're breathing. Don't hold your breath. 5 on this side too. From this position, we're going to come into our tall seated. Give myself some time there. From a tall seated position, we're going to reach overhead. I want you to get your ears, elbows, hands, shoulder, hips all in one straight line. We're doing 5 deep breaths here, getting taller on the inhale, tighter on the exhale, staying tall on the exhale. Bring the chest forward, knees up high and close. Use your core to hold this position. Make it strong, make it burn. From tall seated, we're going to do tall shin box transitions. So instead of coming in and out with low knees, we're going to keep the knees really high, low abdomen and hip flexors really tight. We're going to do 5 transitions each side, maybe 3. Staying tall. You'll notice in the transition, your head will want to sink down toward the floor. Keep it as tall as you can. Keep the chest up as high as you can. From this position, we're going to go into our pigeon. We can do elbows, hands, or one hand. We're going to do a switch here. So you're going to use the hands to pull yourself against the floor and rock onto the other hip and reach that back leg back. We're going to do hand assisted 4 times per side, staying long through the crown, trying to keep rectangle integrity here and breathing. After we do 4 of these each side, we're going to do 4 each side without the hands. So taking your hands out of the equation, make sure that rectangle is strong. And you're using the leg to push down into the floor and swing your back leg around. So front leg pivots, back leg swings. Front leg pivots and stabilizes, back leg swings, long through the crown, long through the reaching leg behind us. Rectangle stays rigid. From our last pigeon, we'll keep the same position. We'll go into a lock here with arms posted, and we're just going to hover that back leg if possible. If it doesn't come up, just strive to pull it up even if it's not moving. From this position, we'll hold that leg up, and we're going to take 3 deep breaths here. Actually, I think we're going to take 5 deep breaths here, if you can. If 3 is enough and it burns too much, we can hop out. Hold the knee and ankle the same height. After your 5th exhale, we'll switch sides. Post the arms. Make sure the trunk And front leg stay rigid, and you're just moving from the left hip out, or the back leg is the only thing moving here. Knee and ankle come up the same amount. Make sure we're staying long on the sides of the abdomen. 5 deep breaths here. On the exhale, try to keep your height, if not lifting it even a little more. Stay tall through the crown. Exhale, come out of there. The next one, we're going to do the same movement but without our hands. So we'll hinge forward to a comfortable position. Keep a very strong core here. Rigid rectangle, chin in, head long. You can reach with both arms here, as long as it doesn't send you spiraling out to the side. You can use a post arm if spiraling out to the side feels inevitable. But try not to use hands here. And again, we'll do 5 breath holds each side. If this is too much or these techniques prove too intense, always pause the video, run through them a few times per side until you can get into a more standard flow. Make sure you feel the glute tissues, reach if you can. Back legs, butt muscle should be nice and tired. We'll come out into a tall seated position. Reach the legs back out into a wide seated position, rolling over into a shin box. We're coming up into cross kneeling. Then we're going to reach our arms back and find the most uncomfortable part of the hinge that's the hardest to keep. Butt headlights up to the ceiling, long crown. We're going to do 5 deep breaths here from the most challenging position. 50 to 75% of the way through is usually the best bet, and then after that 5th exhale, we'll slowly lower down. Switching sides, back up into cross kneeling. We'll reach our arms out, butt back, find the most challenging position, especially for that front leg glute or butt cheek. We have more weight in our front leg than our back leg, and we're holding here for 5 breaths again. Slowly lowering back down without plopping after the 5th exhale. We're going to roll back through to center, finding our cross kneeling hinge, but instead of dipping the hips back, head forward, we're going to keep our head back. So we're going to load it a lot more by not hinging forward. So the counterbalance is not there. This will challenge the legs more. If it's too much too soon, just keep your head a little further forward. Over time, take it further back. We're doing 5 reps per side here. Make sure we're breathing and controlling all the movements. We'll switch to the other side. A little better angle here. Again, the head goes forward to get up in the first rep. But watch how I bring the ear back over my support a little more. So you just want to pull back on the torso and head, making it more challenging. 5 reps on this side as well. Make sure we're tall at the top, controlled on the way down, don't plop. We're going to go back through center. Keep your rectangle up, cross kneeling to half kneeling. We're going to do our crossbody reach. Opposite arm goes out. Spend 2 breaths reaching the elbow over the front leg, staying upright, and 2 breaths reaching further forward, hinging the armpit over the front leg, finding that back leg glute. After 4 breaths here, we're going to do 5 liftoffs of the back leg. Make sure we're still spreading the floor between back knee and front foot. And I think I do 6 reps instead of 5 here, so you'll just have to do an extra one. Control this movement as much as possible. After the 6th rep, we'll go back through our trace. Slow, controlled. We'll find ourselves upright and half kneeling on the other side. Come up, spread the floor. Opposite arm reaches over for crossbody, 2 breaths. After 2 breaths, reach the arm forward, reaching the armpit toward the knee. Find that back glute. After 4 breaths total, we do 5 pumps of the back leg, still spreading the floor between that back knee and front foot. Again, 5 reps here. This should be very slow, controlled, tight core. Should not be an easy movement. Coming back with our trace, we're going to find ourselves in tall seated position once again. We're going to do arms overhead for this whole flow that will finish us out. We're going to transition shin box, cross kneeling, half kneeling, lunge to standing. All the while keeping the head nice and upright, controlling the motion back through. Arms stay up, tall kneeling in the middle, or tall sitting in the middle. coming up to standing. Leg back to half kneeling, trace back to cross kneeling, seated, tall seated, shin box. Make sure we're breathing through here, keeping rectangle integrity, trying to move as little in the back as possible or the spine as possible, and as much through the hips as possible, generating most of our strength from the core and hips here. We're going to do this 3 times each side, so a total of 6 repetitions. Back up to standing, and we'll reach back through. Make sure you have a lot of control here. If you need to take the arms down at any point, feel free, but over time try to be able to do all 3 without it. Coming back through to center, we're going to go into our cross-seated position, and we're going to do some box breathing here. So listen closely. Big nasal inhale. Pause. Big mouth exhale. Pause. Big nasal inhale. Pause. Big mouth exhale. Pause. Elongate these for 5 breaths total. Get a longer inhale with a longer pause, longer exhale with a longer pause. Listen into this breathing and try it yourself.